I'm very pleased to be joined by Joe Streeter, VP Collateral Product Manager at State Street. I know that you'll be giving a presentation on collateral at the upcoming OTC Derivatives for Fund Management Conference. How big a reality are the collateral shortfalls for the buy side?
Well, let me just start off by saying that these are my views and opinions, not those of State Street. I believe that there will be, or there is a real possibility of collateral shortfall in the marketplace. I think that there are two camps that I've been hearing from that are saying, all right, well, maybe there will be, maybe there won't be, right? So one set of larger buy-side firms are saying, well, we're flush, we have cash securities, we're not worried about running out of collateral. And even if they do, they have their own repo desk, their own sec lending desk, so the collateral can be sourced fairly easily. But there's another pocket of smaller asset managers, smaller buy-side firms that are, maybe have a lot of corporate bonds in their portfolio, but there are concentration limits on those corporate bonds. So they might not have enough collateral to go out to the market to satisfy their margin calls. So I think that there are two camps that are really involved here, and it proves the fact that going forward, the collateral will have to be managed more efficiently, optimized, and where necessary, transformed into eligible collateral.
And what implications does that have for those who deal with OTC derivatives?
Yeah, well, I think that the margin requirements, the amount of margin calls, the amount of collateral is increasing, or will be increasing. And I think that for the most part, we have bifurcated portfolio models. So where now you'll be trading cleared derivatives with interest rate swaps, credit default swaps, and you'll also have your bilateral portfolios, a large chunk of trading under the CSA still. So, again, I'll take it back to efficiently managing the inventory, being ready for all of the changes, Dodd-Frank, EMIR, the TMPG recommendation for agency mortgage-backed securities. So I think that the implications are people really have to be ready. There are going to be more margin calls, more collateral required, different parties that will be receiving the collateral. So you have your bilateral counterparties, you have your FCMs and clearinghouses. So I think everybody just has to be ready. And for the most part, it's been a smooth transition.
What can be done to combat the shortfalls?
It's like a three-stage process, right? So it's necessary for buy-side firms, or any firm really, to know what their collateral needs are through forecasting cash and security collateral, through what-if scenario analysis. So if you put a trade on, what is my collateral going to be? And once you know what kind of collateral you need, then you're able to, on settlement date of that collateral, run an optimization tool that says, okay, here are my margin requirements. I have 10, let's say, OTC derivatives, cleared derivatives, futures, all the way down the list. And here is my eligibility criteria. Here is the collateral I already have posted. And on the other side of that, you have your inventory, your asset inventory. And you need to be able to calculate and allocate that inventory to the margin requirements through some sort of flexible rules engine using some sort of cheapest to deliver, hierarchy of collateral, longest maturity, that kind of stuff, to calculate and allocate, like I said, those pieces of collateral to the margin requirements. And then once it's optimized and all of the instructions, all of the collateral gets moved out to the counterparties, where there are margin requirements that are still in the queue where there's no collateral available, they have to go to an upgrade queue or an enhancement queue, where the firm has to go out and transform their collateral.
Yeah, and what are the recent developments in collateral transformation services?
It's been a buzzword over the past couple of years. Not much has happened just yet. There's a lot of unknowns, right? So who's going to do it? The FCMs, the custodians. We're not really sure, because there are balance sheet implications. There are requirements to get into a securities lending type of model through an agency provider. So not a lot has been done. The shortfall hasn't happened just yet. And when it does, you can run into a securities lending trade or a repo trade. So it's a buzzword, might happen in the future. I think once the Basel and IOSCO rules for non-cleared derivatives come into play in 2015 and beyond, then it'll probably be more of an issue, more substantial issue. But right now, it's still just a buzzword.
And finally, are there likely to be any major shifts in what's considered as eligible collateral?
Not really. Definitely not de-scoping. Possibly enlarging the scope, or making the scope bigger. But I think over the years, it was originally thought that the clearinghouses would say, okay, only cash and treasuries. But that's when everybody got nervous about a shortfall, right? And said, okay, we're going to have to figure out how to turn our equities or corporate bonds into treasuries or cash. But over the years, the regulators, the clearinghouses, expanded the scope to, so it's cash, treasuries, so government bonds, corporates, equities in some cases, and even gold. So I think that the scope is as big as it's going to get, but I think it covers pretty much everything as long as there's no major concentration risk in any of the categories.
Okay, well, thank you very much for a detailed overview on collateral, and I will look forward to hearing more at your presentation.
Appreciate it.